Ready to get started for the deep dive this morning. It is Monday, June 3rd, first deep dive of June. Glad to have everybody here this morning. If you saw the video that I recorded, June is National Homeownership Month. Hopefully you know that, but if not, we're going to jump into National Homeownership Month today, talking all about why people buy a home. Really the non-financial benefits of homeownership, maybe some financial benefits of homeownership. We talk about those a lot most of the time, but that's what we're going to cover on the deep dive this morning. You know, it's always so good to start our week this way with all of you talking about what's most important, what's happening right now, and that's what we intend to do. So as you join this morning, let us know where you're watching from. You know, people from all over the country end up watching the deep dive, and I'll try to follow along here and see folks in there. Scott, I see you from Destin. Good to see you this morning. Hope you're doing well. You know, as folks join, let us know where you're joining from. You know, one thing I'll say about National Homeownership Month, getting out into the market, talking to people that you're working with about this topic is going to be very, very important. I think we live in a time right now where I'll show you a few things as we get started on the deep dive, where people are wondering, should I buy a home? Should I, should I jump in right now? And I think we need to be vocal. So my goal this morning is to give you some of the things that that people are talking about, the reasons they buy a home, and we'll, as always, we'll give you the resources that you can share. You know, we shared a video on the KCM Instagram this weekend. Our team does a phenomenal job of getting great content out in the market. And sometimes I say, you know, whether you're using a real talk script or you're using something else, watch what we're sharing and realize that that is a great place to start and, you know, maybe share some content of your own on social. So we'll get started here. I see people joining again. Let us know where you're watching from as you join, and we'll get started here. All about why people buy a home is what we're talking about this morning. Really, the non-financial benefits of buying a home. So I'm going to share my screen, get started here, and we'll be off to the races. So, all right, if you can see this, we're talking about that this morning. Home ownership, why people buy, why they make the decision, what are the financial reasons, what are the non-financial reasons, really to get this out in the market, given that June is National Homeownership Month. And you know, this picture, I think, sums things up very, very well. And it's the reason that everybody got into the business was to turn over the keys to someone in their new home, help them achieve the dream of homeownership, the American dream, really, of buying a home and owning something that is theirs. And, you know, most of the time on the deep dive, we spend time talking about the financial benefits of home ownership. We talk about all the reasons why, you know, buying a home is the best investment, while buying a home creates wealth, and all the things with inventory prices and normal topics. In this morning, we're going to take a little bit different approach. And my hope is that it spurs some things inside of you to help you articulate and remember, one, maybe why you got in the business, two, how we can share that with other people and share the stories of people that we're helping right now in the market. Because I think helping people, while we want to turn over the keys, it's really all about this right here. It's all about the smiles and the looks on people's faces when they realize, you know what, this is our home. This is what we bought. This is what we now get a chance to make our own. You know, and I know everybody listening on the call today, that's why you got into the business, was to help people do just that and to create that. And I know more than anything, that's probably the most fulfilling thing that you do, is to see maybe a child get their bedroom for the first time, or maybe you know, somebody finally getting to buying their place after they've saved up for so many months. And it's all about that. You know, there's an article in Forbes that said this, that a home is a place where memories are made. It's a backdrop for the holidays, for family gatherings, and for special moments. It's where you can create your traditions and make lasting memories with the people you love. These memories will be cherished forever and provide happy moments to reflect on when the times are tough. Listen, home can be a lot of different places. And certainly it's not saying that you can't rent somewhere and have that be home, because you certainly can. But there is something special about being able to buy your own home and having that sense of all the things that brings. And, as we celebrate National Homeownership Month, my encouragement to you is going to be to talk about this, to talk about it in a lot of different ways, because people need to hear it. And there are a couple of very real reasons that people need to hear this. And I want to go back and show you a couple of things that I hope they crystallize in your mind the reason we need to talk about this. One, owning a home has gotten much, much more expensive over the last several years. This is the average monthly mortgage payment starting out beginning of 2021 up until today. See, the average payment's more than doubled. It's gotten more expensive to buy a home. And certainly if you follow the deep dive, if you follow Keeping Current Matters, we have talked about this. We've talked about the fact that owning a home has gotten more expensive, and many wondering, will I be able to buy a home? Is certainly a question that has then sent affordability to a historic low. NAR says right now affordability in this country is at a 40-year low. Okay, and that's the fact. Now, I think all the things that we talk about help you articulate why is now a good time to buy a home? Should you sell a home? All those things, but that's the truth. Owning a home has got extremely expensive. Affordability is at almost an all-time low, if not an all-time low. And oh, by the way, it's National Homeownership Month. We're talking about all the reasons you should buy, the non-financial reasons, all those things. And we're being hit with headlines like this. Americans say it's the worst time to buy. When will home prices be affordable again? We just talked about that. Oh, by the way, I hired an agent to sell my home. Do I now have to pay the buyer's broker? Right? You take the NAR settlement, everything bearing down on, and there's oftentimes, in the media and certainly headlines that are designed as clickbait more than anything else to draw people in. We need to get our message out there. So I want to give you a few things over the next couple of minutes to get your message out in the market about owning a home. First one comes from the Gallup poll. Every year Gallup asks, what do you consider the best long-term investment? And I'm here to tell you, in 2024, Americans voted owning a home, real estate, as the #1 best long-term investment. 36% of Americans in this poll voted owning real estate the best long-term investment, more than stocks and bonds, more than gold, more than savings accounts, more than bonds, more than crypto, which I can believe that. But listen, this is something that we need to talk about. This weekend, I was talking about the reel that we put out in the market using this graphic that people responded to. And I would use this. I would get into Real Talk, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute. We have a script for you to be able to use and talk about this. But anybody that uses this slide, here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Go into the slide, into the notes section, and go to the report and the press release about the report and read it so you understand it, so that you can share this information confidently. Bank of America said the same thing. Matt Vernon, the head of consumer lending, our research continues to show that the vast majority of prospective homebuyers overwhelmingly feel buying a home now or in the future is the best decision for them in the long run. One of those reasons being financial, one of those reasons being non-financial. Okay, and there's so many non-financial benefits that maybe we don't think about or maybe don't talk about enough. And inside this report that Bank of America did, they talked about the emotional value of home ownership. And they went through and they asked a number of questions. 89% of those that were surveyed said that the idea of owning a home brings emotional fulfillment rather than added stress. Right? Write that down. Remember this. Remember what I just said about Gallup, right? The #1 thing that was voted this year, 36% of Americans, right back here, voted owning a home is the best long-term investment. What's the other critical piece here? 89% said it brings them emotional fulfillment. 67% said prospective home buyers would prefer to own a home for a sense of permanence and emotional stability it provides rather than the flexibility of lending. Owning a home gives you your spot. This is our place. This is where we land. This is what we have. And 2/3 of Americans says it gives me a sense of permanence. I have my spot. 58% surveyed in this survey from Bank of America said that owning a home is the best long-term decision for them to have control over their living space. You can do what you want. You can make it your own. You can paint. You can all the things you can't do maybe if you're renting somewhere. And so the emotional value of home ownership is tremendous. And I think in a time like right now, when we're inundated with headlines of should I buy a home and what's going on right now, do I have to pay an agent? Being able to remind people, not only this is what owning a home means, but this is what I bring to the transaction. This is what I do. FinHabit said this: the decision between renting and owning a home is a significant one, impacting your finances, your lifestyle, and your future. While renting offers flexibility and minimal responsibility for maintenance, owning a home brings a suite of benefits that can have a lasting positive effect on your life and financial well-being. You know, they break this down into several different categories of benefits of owning versus renting. First of all, we talked about this security and stability. I have my spot. The freedom to customize, the community involvement, all the lifestyle benefits, the financial benefits, building equity, tax advantages, stable monthly payments. Oh, by the way, this one right here is tremendous. We're not devoting all the time today to the financial benefits, but in an inflationary economy where things are getting more expensive, when you buy a home, you buy in today's dollars, where year after year, time after time, prices go up. Certainly the forecasts for prices and homes in this country are that they would go up, and your monthly payment remains the same. You get to buy in today's dollars. Oh, by the way, you get to buy in today's dollars, and if mortgage rates come down, you get to refinance and get to save there. You know, it's an investment for a lot of people. The number one way people build wealth in this country is through residential real estate. That's a fact. And maybe some people, they buy their first home and they hang on to it as a rental property. We could talk about the financial benefits all day. The long-term benefits there: no landlord dependency. It's a forced savings plan and real potential for a rental income like we just talked about. And yet we live in a world where people talk about prices and mortgage rates. I'm not saying those aren't important. They're very, very important, but they're not everything. Interest rates sure do get a lot of attention, but they shouldn't be the only part of your home buying decision-making process. After all, the answer to the question, is now a good time to buy a house, boils down to whether the time is right for you to start your new chapter, to invest in what makes you happy. You know, is now a good time to buy? Is now a good time to sell? Well, the question is that right for you, is what they're saying here. You know, there are certainly reasons that people buy, there are reasons that people sell, timing reasons for that, you know, all the lifestyle reasons that people buy and sell that we need to remind people of. If your family's growing, you're not going to be able to stay in the 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. If you're going through some sort of life change, maybe you're upgrading, maybe you're downsizing, whatever the case is, they're not all dependent upon interest rates. You know, and then the question becomes, should I go out and rent? Should I go out and buy? You know, Fannie Mae did a survey as well. 94% of people said that the reasons between renting and buying, they wanted to buy because they had a sense of privacy and security. That's what owning a home meant to them. 91% said to have a good place for your family. 90% having a good place to raise your children. All of these reasons that people say, you know what, buying a home, we prefer that more than owning a home. I'll wrap up with one more slide here, and then I'm going to show you specifically ways that you can get this message out into the market. You know, we've talked a lot about how we accumulate knowledge, How we then share that knowledge, engage in that knowledge, that is our job right now. But I'll wrap with this. Our homes offer spaces to reflect our taste, our ethos, our routines without external judgment. Hanging our favorite artwork, to surrounding ourselves with favorite colors, to developing layouts reflective of personal lifestyles are all ways our homes offer opportunities for self-expression. There's so many reasons that people buy homes. We spend a lot of time on the deep dive and just in general in the business of real estate talking about the financial reasons, but there are so many reasons that are non-financial. And I would argue that anybody listening right now got into the business for the non-financial reasons, right? You got in the business to help people achieve the dream of home ownership. And so our job right now is to be out and active sharing that message. I'll give you a few ways to do that this week as we kick off National Homeownership Month here in June. Whether it's a blog post, a social post, a real talk script, recording a video about this, we've got the tools and resources for you to be active out in the market. All these slides are available to KCM members. If you're not a KCM member, you can go in today and start a free trial, grab these slides and be active for National Homeownership Month. Another thing this month, our June, really summer buyer and seller guides come out on the 5th, come out this Wednesday. That is a great resource to get in the hands of those that are thinking about buying, those that are thinking about selling, maybe to have it at an open house, to have handy as you're out talking about everything going on in this real estate market. So I'll wrap up with that. Thank you for joining the deep dive. It's always so good to see everybody on and to get a chance to start our week this way, talking about this. And this is a special one where we get to talk about the non-financial reasons why buying a home makes so much sense. So we'll see you back next week, and happy Home Ownership Month here in June. Take care.